Welcome everyone to Light Painting Brushes Live. This is our 10-year anniversary episode. For those that don't know, Light Painting Brushes turns 10. So this is a pretty big deal, and wanted to make sure we got this live in, and this is going to be a great evening. So I appreciate everybody that's joining us tonight. Um, what we're going to do too, we're going to switch something up a little bit different. So if you can write down any questions or comments or anything that you want to say, we'll have a period throughout the evening where you have the opportunity to ask one of our guests some questions, or if you want to, say something to Jason or any one of us. So we will have the opportunity to do that. So with that, first up this evening, we have the founder and the creator of Light Painting Brushes, Jason Page. Jason, please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, and how long have you been light painting?
I'm Jason Page. As you said, been light painting since 2004. And I am in Hopestown, Florida.
Awesome, awesome. Let me screen share here. Yeah, so Jason, let's dive right into it. I thought it would be a great opportunity this evening. We know you as the founder of Light Painting Brushes, but we've never had the opportunity really to sit down and talk with you as an artist. So before we dive into Light Painting Brushes 10 years, we're going to take the opportunity to highlight some of your signature techniques and some of the things that you do as an artist. Um, so first up, I have your light writing. Your light writing is super impressive to me. Just the fact that you're able to create these letters and do what you do with writing is really impressive. Walk us through the framing. How are you spacing your letters? When you're creating the light paintings with the light writing that you do.
In this one, for instance, this is on the beach. So I'm kind of I'll mark on the ground because it's sand, obviously, kind of like where my beginning and end frame is. And then just kind of light write throughout that space that I have to light write in. And then I adjust the size of the letter to fit within that space. But
Now,
let me just say real quick, thank you for doing this, by the way, and thank you for everyone being here. I do want to say that. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for everything, for the support, for us getting to 10 years. And it's because of everyone here and everyone else around the world that's been supportive. So just want to say thank you real quick.
absolutely, man. Well, it's a pleasure, and it's a great community, and I couldn't be more thankful to be a part of it. So this is awesome, man.
Thank you,
Um,
brother.
now for those that don't know, when light writing, you're writing the letters backwards. When you're facing your camera, is there a trick that you do to see what you're writing in your head, or how do you see it? What is the most difficult letter that you found to write?
I don't know that I have any kind of tricks to like reverse the letters in my head or anything. I don't know why that kind of works for me. I can see it that way sometimes.
I
And as
mean,
far as the most difficult letter to write, it would be a lowercase a. I don't know why, but
right.
and
It's
the ends mess me up too all the time. I
it's
open
super
the word
impressive,
wrong.
man. I mean, letter. I can't draw for nothing. Like, and especially to do it in the air and actually try to visualize it and write it backwards. I mean, that's primarily why I find it so impressive for people that can do that.
Right on. Thank you. Thank you.
So next up, there's another technique that you do, and that's shattered world. Um, y- you know, this is a perfect example of using negative space by positioning yourself to be silhouetted. Can you walk us through how, and thinking about how you're going to frame that negative space so you are silhouetted?
It's just about like I'm trying to go for symmetry, and a lot of my images I'm trying to go for symmetry. So this is just another example of trying to get something that's symmetrical. I don't know, you know me very well, and there's parts of that image that absolutely drive me insane. You know how many times you were with me for both of
Yeah.
these, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this one I like. I'm happy with this one, except the plane going over in the top right corner. I can't stand that. But the the one before, it's like there's little pieces parts, but I'm trying to get symmetry, right? So as far as the spatial awareness, it's like the diamond plexi. and I'm turning away from the camera and I'm just turning it on and off, like, but holding my body as still as I can. And I'm actually the model in those, so it would be way easier if I had someone standing in that I could just go around them. But I'm actually the model in those images, so I do that trying to stand still. See that one there? That's using a model, so it's way easier to get something that's symmetrical, I think.
One thing I noticed about your Shattered Worlds is they're so even and consistent on both sides. So are you counting? Like a lot of times when I light paint and I'm doing something to make it symmetrical, I count. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
are you saying like I'll do 40 on this side and 40
Yes.
on this side? So yeah.
Absolutely. And then also as I'm walking to the camera, so I'm walking to the camera, I'm staying in where I believe that negative space is or that silhouette is, so that I don't put any of the little illuminations in that silhouetted space or that negative space. And I'm going like as a big arc all the way around to make sure that I don't go over the silhouette that's centered in the image. And the way that I'm doing the ones in the foreground is I'm actually walking to camera, stopping and doing exactly what you're saying, counting, like, okay, I'm going to put 9 here. And then I take 3 steps forward and then I do like 8 there or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, it's definitely counting and then just like that spatial awareness.
We should definitely film but film you doing this, but it would take like 15 minutes, you know?
Yeah, they're long. They're long. I have that, that's my favorite one. I'm going to, I have a tutorial filmed on this process, this technique. I just haven't put it together yet, but I
Awesome.
have it. Yeah, I have it done.
So there's another thing that you do. Your trees, man. The trees and the flowers are always a favorite of mine. Can you talk about something that we talk about often, and we've had conversations about this, but spatial awareness when you're creating your trees and your flowers. What exactly is spatial awareness?
It's being aware of the space you're working in, I guess, as simple as that could be. If you leave this one up, this is actually a really good example of what I'm doing because you can kind of see my silhouette there, my body. So in most of my light painting work, what I'm doing, especially in my light writing and in these here, I'm using my body as a guide, right? So I know the top of that tree is like right at my head level. So I'm bringing up like the tree, the roots and I guess the trunk of the tree, basically just following my body up to my head level, and that's where I'm ending it. And then I'm starting the leaves from that, literally from my face, which would be the top of the trunk, and just going out from there, and then just going, but using my body as a guide. And it's the same thing with the light writing as well. As I talked about with that, I know what space I have to work in. So then whatever word or phrase I want to put in that space, I have to adjust the size of the letter. So if I need it to be like, if I want the letter to be bigger, I'll start, say, on the ground and go up to my waist. And I'll stay at my waist level each time. So the letter will either stop or end at my waist level. And for instance, if I need more letters, I'll just reduce the size of the letter and maybe I'll bring it up to my knee. So that's the way I do the spatial awareness, and also with the size of the letters and trees and things like that.
Yeah, it's super cool, man. I absolutely love these trees, man. Just so intricate. And even the flowers. So the flowers are the same way, just which
Yeah,
you're describing a minute ago.
exactly. Just using my body as a guide. So that one, the center of that flower is right at my face. So I know, like, if I turn that flare, it's right there, literally like center of my face. And then I'm doing the petals out around my head. And then the stem is basically my body. The hardest part is obviously the leaves because it's like nearly impossible to get them lined up on the stem.
Right.
But same thing, using my body as a guide. And with the flowers and also the tree, I'll have like a center point where the base is that I'll know I want to come back to. So if I do like the fiber optics on the bottom or those little lines of light, little stems or whatever you want to call them, yeah, I'm coming back to the same point. So there's like, I don't remember what I put there, but it might have been like a pine cone or something that I put there on the ground. So I know I'm coming back to that same point each time I go out from there.
Another thing that you do is the light man. Let's talk about the light man. How did that come to life? And I know we had talked about your favorite one, which we're gonna share. But what's the story here behind the light man that you do?
It's simply an illuminated imprint of myself in that place and time. And it's, I very fortunate that I get to, excuse me, go around to a bunch of different places and light paint in those places. And, they can, like this one, I was tired. So I literally was like, I'm just going to lay down and create a light, you know what I mean? So it, yeah, it's not so much as a representation of my emotional state at that time normally, but it just is a visual representation of my time in that place at night. And as everybody here knows, you know, like the woods or the beach or any kind of natural environment at night is a completely different world. And we're so fortunate, or I definitely feel extremely fortunate to be able to experience those places a lot, most 99% of the time, completely alone. And it's, I don't know, it's just a way to kind of record myself in that time and space,
I mean, this one here, man, I'd be scared to have my foot hanging off on a pier in Florida, man. I
Yeah.
have an
There are,
outfitter
there are
jump.
gators. That particular lake right there, not this night, but there was another night, just on the other edge, like right basically where the moon is rising there. That I literally had there were little baby gators like right on the shore, and the mama gator was like sitting. I could see her eyes out there, and she's just watching. But I literally picked up one of the little babies like in my hand, like was just trying to get him to get in my hand. There's a video of it somewhere I have, but I actually got him in my hand and picked him up.
Man, I should have pulled some of those videos of the gators, like the ones that growl. We should have shared.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're crazy.
You
Uh,
don't want to you don't want to pick those up.
right.
Definitely.
I know I had asked you, where was your favorite light man that you ever created, and you told me here.
Yeah, that
I
one.
know this was a pretty special trip to you.
Yeah,
Meeting up with your mom in Vegas, and
yeah.
tell us the backstory of this image right here.
This image, I believe this is called, I can't remember the name of this place. It's either called Desert View. I think it's called Desert View. And it's like all the way inside of Grand Canyon Park, right? So the Grand Canyon National Park, it's like all the way at the end of it. And I hadn't been there. I was supposed to actually go to Vegas this day that I ended up staying, but I was just kind of cruising around the park and I found this spot and I was like, oh man, I have to light paint here. So I ended up staying there another night before I went to Vegas, and then got up at like 4 in the morning and drove to Vegas after this. But yeah, so it was just this beautiful epic location that is like the Desert View Tower, I think it's called, and it just happened to have that yellow light on it, like that whatever sodium light I think it's called,
Right.
and then the blue and just that whole scene, man. Again, I go back to that all the time. Just you want to talk about a place where it's just surreal, and I'm literally sitting there on a canyon and literally on the edge of the Grand Canyon by myself at night, and it's yeah, it's just
Yeah.
so it's 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 something. I don't even know
It's
what the word is. It's amazing.
it's a beauty, and one of the things that I love about the technique that you're doing here with the light man is it's something simplistic, but yet
Mm,
you're pulling in a lot of environment, and that
mm.
environment is very captivating, and it creates this whole image and together. So it's beautiful, man.
Thank you, thank you.
Um, so another thing, one of the greatest things about your light paintings you create is that you're never just a one and done artist. You tend to revisit all your techniques until it's developed itself into something that you can create a series from. Can you tell us where that inspiration comes from for like the series of images that we're going to look at? Also, out of the different series of images you create, what would you say is your favorite, to revisit that you do?
Um,
I know there
well,
was a lot there.
yeah, the as far as like why do I revisit the technique or
Yeah, yeah. So, you spend a lot of time. You don't just create a light painting image and be like, all right, well, I've been there, done that. You
yeah,
take it and you let it manifest itself and grow
right.
and
Yeah,
continue to create.
yeah. I just like to I like to figure something out and then see where I can take that. For instance, the one previous, the flower one, is basically came from that technique. So this is like a stain. This is not what I was going for here is like a stained glass look. Which this is the only one I've ever got that I really liked. For that stained glass look, I get this is a technique that I want to explore more, and I plan to explore more. I'm actually working on it now. Doing this like stained glass look, but it's all light. There's no glass. There's no stained glass involved in this technique at all. It is 100% light painting, but it's just different layers of light and different layers of light painting that are then put together, all in one single exposure, obviously. And same with this. So this one's kind of a funny story. This one, Frank Sinatra, my buddy, it was his 40th birthday party, and he had been asking me for this image for years to do. And I tried to do it once, completely failed at it, and I was kind of over it. And then he was asking me, hey, I really want to do it. And I said, fine, if you come help me make it, I'll, because I wanted them to see the process, because these take a long freaking time to make. Not just the like making of it, but like figuring out the colors, figuring out the textures, figuring out like what all works together and lining everything up and like all that. These take a long time to make. And so I had him come over and help me, and we worked on it for like a week. Completely failed, totally gave up, and I was just like, okay, I was done with this Frank Sinatra. I was so over this thing. But then it was his 40th birthday, and I just said, screw it, I'm gonna make it. And I just literally probably took me another week, and I finally kind of figured out what worked, and made this one for him and printed it and gave it to him for his birthday.
Awesome, man.
But yeah, these take a really long time, man. These are a pain in the neck.
Yeah, the whole series, man, is just, and we've talked about it before, just some of the stuff that you do here, and if people really knew what's involved here, I mean, it's pretty impressive stuff, man.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, these are beautiful. We'll look at a
Thank
couple more here before we move on to this one too, just the colors, man.
Yeah, that one was so those like that skin tone color that I was trying. It's so freaking hard to get that, man. So
Hey,
freaking.
you know why it's a lot of influential people. Is there a story behind that? Just
Just people I've found inspirational throughout
yeah.
time, or some in some way, shape, or form, someone I've got inspiration from. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's really good, man.
Yeah,
I love that one too.
yeah, yeah. That one.
Um, so this next image here, so this image here, it's a technique that, for me personally is important because I remember you being up here in Virginia years ago and you showed me how exactly you created this. And I was just captivated and blown away. And it made me think and approach my work in a different way and in a way that I still approach my work today.
Mhm.
So biggest thing that I wanted to do was just, thank you for that, number one. Now, knowing how you do this and the day that you let the world know, man, people are going to be like, there's no way. I'm telling you, the way that you do this technique is so just super cool, man. But really, that's all I wanted to say about this because knowing you, I know you're not going to talk about this. You're
Yeah.
not going to mention anything. And I'm going to tell you guys something. So, as amazing as our community is with people that share the things that we do and everything, Jason at one time he told me, he's like, dude, you don't have to share everything. There's some stuff that you want to keep to yourself and you want it to grow and manifest itself and develop. There will be a time and a place, for you to share. I'm the type of person, I do something, I'm so excited about it, I'm be like, whoa, look at this is how I did it. But that there are some things that are better left kept to yourself and just give it time to develop and grow and mature into something else. So, but that's all
That's
I wanted to say about
that's some that's something I really have always enjoyed about the light painting community, is seeing an image and not knowing how it's done,
right.
right? And going, how the hell did they do that? Like, and trying to figure it out, and like back in the day, TCB, Dana Maltby, like his stuff, and just, yeah, there's been so many people that I look at them and I'm just like, how the hell did they make that? And that, I've always loved that aspect of it. So I do love, obviously I love to share, like, you know, all kinds of different techniques, but there are a few that I really feel like, I don't know, if it's like, if I saw a bunch of people start doing this, I would share how I did it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if, if I haven't seen people kind of figure it out yet, then I'm not ready to share it yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm
Well,
sure
see,
there's people
I
that can figure
know,
it.
and I've kind of like, nope, I can't. This is his baby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
I would kill
yeah,
you.
yeah, right.
Yeah, no.
Um, so man, we're gonna that's you as an artist, and now we're gonna dive into LPB 10 years, man.